Understanding the competition is, in my estimation, probably one of the most important, if not the most important element of doing your market research. I'm always taken aback when someone comes to me and tells me that they really don't have any competition. Wow, you always have competition, and because we've got access to the internet, that competition has now become global in many cases. And how do I compete effectively against some of them? And more importantly, how can I take advantage of that opportunity myself? But understanding the competition, first of all, helps us understand that a market really exists. If there are competitors out there, that can be a good sign. That means that they're selling products and services to other people already. If there isn't any competition, maybe there's a reason. You know, I've looked around the city of Beloit and no one is selling buggy whips. There's a golden opportunity. I can be the only retailer in town with buggy whips. 100 years ago, that might have been a big deal. Right now, you might be hard-pressed to sell one. Understanding our competition lends credibility to that business plan. Again, as I said, this marketing section is the largest component of any business plan. If I'm thinking about applying for grants to advance my idea, and maybe it's in education, maybe it's in alternative energy that I'm looking at, I've got to do my homework before I can advance that. Another example, we worked with a gentleman who is a PhD physicist, spends his time working on new types of sensor technology, really Star Wars stuff. And we worked with the gentleman to look for market opportunities, more importantly, who might be a competitor already working on similar sensor technology out there. The information that we were able to uncover, much of it through secondary market research, allowed him to apply for an SBIR grant, Small Business Innovative Research, from, I think it was Homeland Security. Could have been DOD, Department of Defense. But he was able to secure an SBIR grant. The Phase 1 grant provided funding for the first year at $100,000. Additional market research following on that gave him the opportunity to apply for the SBIR Phase 2 grant. That brings in a 10-fold increase. Do the math, 100,000, add a zero, $1 million. $1 million worth of grant funding. Not a loan, a grant. But again, those opportunities are available if you do your homework and if you're in the right market sectors. What about market positioning? Where do I want to be? And who's out there right now? And how dominant might they be? I really have to understand the competition. Because if I'm thinking about going into a market sector or a region, who's already playing in that sandbox? And who really dominates? If there's a big dog out there that I'm going up against, they're going to control pricing, and they can control who comes in, who they exit. Because if they want to, they can drive us out of business very quickly. So I have to understand the landscape and who's playing out there. So I have to define the product or service in terms of customer benefits and the value proposition. What value does my product or service present to a customer? And how do I know that? Have I asked potential customers? Have they given me feedback? Have I talked to friends, family, industry experts, and given them an example of what I've got here, and asked them, do they see this as a true value? If they do, what would they be willing to pay for that value? It helps me establish my pricing strategy at the same time. We conducted research for a gentleman in Janesville a couple of years ago on an invention that he had, and we developed a survey, and we took that survey out to the general public. We had people stopping people at airports. We were doing mall intercepts in the parking lots. We were doing all kinds of different research to gather information on how they might value this product. We then started looking at what would they pay for something like this. And it really helped us determine where that price might settle in. To our surprise, it was significantly higher than the inventor was forecasting. Almost 3 times what he was ready to settle for bringing it to the marketplace. So sometimes you can overlook a grand opportunity just because we haven't conducted the necessary research